What's up, guys? Oklahoma's worst angler coming at you with an easy how to spool a baitcaster video from Monster Bass. So guys, I've got a couple of my tools here. I have got my spool tool, I got my reel, and I got my line that I'm going to throw on this reel. All right, so this is my first video on here, so take it easy on me. All right, now I want to show you guys how I spool a baitcaster. It's a different way. I don't see many other people doing this, and I do feel it's a little bit easier. So for the beginners out there, if this is your first time spooling a baitcaster, follow along. I'm going to do my best to explain every little step in here, and you'll realize just how simple it can really be. All right, guys, so we've got the reel on the spool tool. Now, don't give me too much crap over this reel because this reel gets used. It's seen some work, so it's a little dirty. But what we want to do, get the reel on the spool tool and then grab our line. So your most important thing to pay attention to with your line to your reel is the direction the line is coming off of the spool. You want it coming off of the top, rolling off the top like this right here, which facing you will be counterclockwise. That's the way that it will be rolling off. The reason for that is you want that line to be in the same direction going back onto your spool as you're reeling. So when you're reeling, your spool is going back towards you, and you want that line going in the exact same direction. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this into the spool tool. Let's go and speed this up. All right, so we got some tension on there now. Okay, so what we're going to do first off is you want to make sure that the guide on your reel is almost directly center. If it comes off center, it's okay, but just for the start, it's a little easier to do this. So we're going to pull it through the center eyelet. So we got it through the center eyelet. Now here's the thing where I do things a little bit differently and a little easier. I'm not going to tell you to try and feed it underneath the spool and tie a knot this way. This is where we do different. We work smarter, not harder. All right, so what we're going to do is take the side plate off of our reel. We're going to remove the spool, and then we're going to pull the line through the reel. So this step right here, you're going to look like this right here. Side plate off, spool out, line hanging out. Next step, you want to give yourself enough line because we're going to tie a couple of, well, we're going to tie one knot. All right, the one knot that we're going to tie is just a simple square knot. Simple square knot, okay? So we're going to go over and under. And then we're going to go over and under again. Now hold on to that tag end while you're pulling this tight. I like to pull it tight around one of my fingers. Grab the knot, slide it down a little bit, pull it tight around my finger right there. So then we're sitting like this right here. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that line and we're going to pull it through the loop. Just pull it through that loop right there. So now you've got a loop between two fingers, what I like to do, just like this right here. Okay? Next step that we're going to do is we're going to put it over the spool. Now the most important thing here is when you're putting it over the spool is to make sure that that tension from the loop and the knot, you want to slide those. If you have on your spool a line guide in the center of it, you want to do that. You want to make sure it's lined up in there. You're going to cinch this down to where it's tight. And what that will do is that will naturally tie tight around your spool and be snug all the way around your spool right there. Next thing you're going to do, take your nail clippers, your scissors, or whatever you got available, and cut the tag end. Cut the tag end off. Got our spool right here. What you want to do next, pull your line back tight, and then put your spool back into your reel. Okay? Put your side plate back on there. Take up the slack in your line on the spool there. Make sure, again, if you can, make sure that your guide is directly in the center, right there. So when you start reeling this and you start spooling it back on to the spool, that the line starts to be guided and you get a nice even spool. So let's go ahead, let's spool this up. Now guys, a quick thing on here too. If you notice that your spool starts to lean heavy or feed heavy to one side, all you gotta do is use your finger to help correct it, okay? So if I'm feeling just a little more too heavy to the right, I'm gonna be pushing to the left on my line right there. And then so forth, so on and so forth. But it should even back out, especially if you have a good spool that it's coming off of. So we're just about done here spooling this reel up. Most important thing though, when you're doing this, make sure that you're not going to overfill your spool. You don't want to overfill your spool, you don't want to underfill your spool, because that will mess with the gears and the ratio, the reel ratio, how much you're retrieving back after you cast out there. Guys, I hope this video helped you out. I hope that we made the task of spooling a bait caster just a little less daunting for you. Hopefully we simplified it. Hopefully I explained everything in detail enough for you. If you got any comments, drop it in the comment section. Find me on YouTube, find me on Instagram. These are cheap plugs. Thanks again, Monster Bass, for having me on there. And hey, I'll see you guys next time I'm out on the water.